Hey, what's up, nerds? Today we're talking dragons, specifically the Shivan Dragon and its status as one of the most legendary cards in Magic. So, Dominaria Remastered has brought back so many memories. This time it was the Shivan Dragon. I popped open a couple of them when I opened some boxes a while back. I was like, wow. I haven't seen that guy for, 28 years? Probably back when I opened a 4th edition pack in the summer of 1995. I was excited back then. I was thrilled. This was a big creature. A 5/5 flyer with the ability to pump it up with red mana. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Of course, what we didn't think about is the cost of the 6 mana to get it on the table and how long into the game that was. When you're just playing casual, you're playing at kitchen tables or at the cafeteria or, at the basement of the Union where a lot of games took place when I was in college, you didn't really care. People were just playing their cards, and the best cards sometimes were those biggest, baddest cards. This dragon has been around since the beginning. Evidently, it's been printed 35 times, dating all the way back to Alpha. So why is it so iconic if it's kind of an okay card? Well, Richard Garfield, the creator of Magic, we all know that guy, right? Thank you, Richard Garfield. He wanted to play D&D.
Can we please play D&D now?
He'd lived in other countries as a kid. When he came back to the U.S., he was thrilled about D&D. He went to his local game store. They didn't have the games. This is all from an interview that he did with the New York Times for the 25th anniversary of Magic. He decided to kind of create his own D&D game, which eventually morphed into something called the 5 Magics, and then, as we know it today, morphed into the card game Magic the Gathering. Well, when your game is inspired by something called Dungeons and Dragons, you have to make sure you have a dragon. Dragons are such a staple in fantasy, and this was clearly going to be the audience for this game. You needed to have a big, bad dragon, preferably in the red variety. Something that breathed fire. Dragons have been around forever in human folklore, all over the planet. Dragons were everywhere, especially with D&D, the iconic red box. To bridge this gap and find its audience, it makes sense that Magic the Gathering wanted to reach out to that D&D crowd. After all, they were swimming in the same pool of...
Where are they? I think they're talking about us.
It had a simple feature. It was easily played by beginners. It had iconic art. That dragon swooping down at you, looking at you, ready to breathe fire on you. It was really big and kind of bad. Evidently, it didn't see a lot of tournament play in the early days. And when it didn't go very far. By the time you had 6 mana to summon it, the game might have been over, especially when your opponent was dropping Curd Apes or even tossing Giant Growth on a Scrib Sprite in turn 2. It's legendary because it's the OG dragon, the original that has been part of Magic since the beginning. We've got new dragons now, some that are actually inspired by dragons in Dungeons and Dragons. Old Gnawbone, the Ancient Bronze Dragon, Immorth the Desert Doom, the Gold, the Copper Ancient Dragons. Some really cool dragons from almost every era of Magic. But Shivan will be there, a legend from the early days, setting the stage for generations of Magic the Gathering Dragon. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful week. See you soon.